afternoon, everybody. What is going on? I am Jeffgrantmedia. In today's real user review, we are going to be taking a look at the Marmansk Urbana Black Collection Sporty Backpack. Now, to get this out of the way, they reached out to me. They sent me this bag for free, but I am not affiliated with them. I'm not being paid to say anything positive or negative about this pack. They simply sent it to me to do a review. So these are my actual honest thoughts on the bag. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and get some specs of the bag. And to be completely honest, they give you pretty much nothing on the website. The only real definitive spec they give you on this bag is that it is a 20-liter pack. They say nothing about the materials used. This is a nylon and this is some sort of rubbery material, but they don't actually tell you what they are. But they do give you this. It is an urban style. The Urbana Black Collection has 5 different bags. It is versatile and multifunctional, a minimalist design, comfortable and lightweight, spacious storage, we're gonna get into that, smart organization, digital tech compartments, quick and easy access, strong and durable, water repellent materials, and high quality zippers. And the bag comes in at $99.99 USD. Now, they do not tell us what these high quality materials are or what these zippers are. They are an AquaGuard type zipper, so hopefully they will do some actual water repellent. But I only got caught in a couple of sprinkles with this pack, so I honestly can't say too much about that. So let's go ahead and start with the real use review. And as always, we're gonna start with the negative points first. Starting with the outside of this bag, we're gonna talk about this front zipper pocket right here. The pocket itself is very slim. There's practically no room for anything in here. The only thing I honestly could fit in here was a spare mask and my ID badge for work, because that is pretty much slim. And honestly, that's it. That's all I kept in here. I did have a pen in here for like a day or two, but I couldn't get my hand in there really good to get the pen, so I took the pen out and I never put it back in. The only positive is that you can hide the zipper pull tab underneath the flap. So ultimately, unless you're just keeping something super slim and narrow in there, the pocket itself is kind of unusable. Now, staying with the outside of the bag, this whole rubbery material here that they don't say what it is. Now, if you look, it actually has some depth to it. It's like there's a pocket of some sort in there. Now, the way they sewn it on the edges, it kind of crimps it down. But this is nothing. There's nothing here. This whole panel here, it's essentially useless. There is some three-dimensional depth to it, but it's not a pocket. It's just here more or less as like a fashion statement to the bag. There's no, I looked, there's no hidden zippers. There's nothing underneath. There's no way to actually access this. Not on the inside of the bag. There's no hidden zipper in these seams at all. It's just there for show. So this, I believe, is like a complete failure to not utilize this space. The bag itself, it's slim, it's 20 liters, and I believe they're saying the 20 liters is including the laptop compartment. So if you're not carrying a laptop and you're not utilizing that back compartment, you don't have that much space. So this being a pocket, or at least some expandable space from inside of the bag, that would really, really benefit the design. But again, it's just there for show. There's no actual function to this piece, and on top they don't tell you what it's made out of. I'd really like to know what this material is. It feels like soft, but it does have like a rubbery feel to it. It's almost like a bicycle inner tube, but not as thick. I mean, bicycle inner tubes are not a super thick rubber, but it's kind of what it feels like, maybe a little bit softer version of that. Like if you have kids and you have like the little 12-inch tubes that you put in those 12, or maybe the 16-inch tubes for their smaller bikes, the tubes, they generally feel a little bit floppier. It feels kind of like that. I mean, it doesn't have that inner tube smell to it by any means, but it's definitely some rubberized material. I would really like to know what it's made out of. And moving on, we'll move on to the laptop compartment. Now, I mean, it's accessible. It is padded front and back, but it is not padded on the bottom. There is no padding that goes across the bottom, and it is not floating. So your laptop will be sitting directly on the ground. Now, what I personally did was I have some scrap foam. So I just kind of took this piece of foam and I rolled it over and I stuck this all the way at the bottom of the bag to give it some cushion, because if that's not there, there is literally nothing there. This is just the outside material of the bag. So the padding is just for the back padding and for the internal compartment. There's nothing at all across the bottom. It is just the canvas material, and that is it. And it even feels as if the actual main compartment has like an extra layer of canvas to give it a little bit more cushion, but the laptop compartment, it does not have that. It's not floating, and it doesn't have any sort of padding. So I took this little piece of foam and I stuck it at the bottom of the laptop compartment. So if you don't have a little scrap piece of foam or anything that you could stick in the bottom of the bag, I would be extremely careful when you're setting this bag down, because there is nothing protecting your computer from the ground, from the table, from the chair, whatever you're setting it down on. So be very, very cautious, or try to stick a little piece of foam, or even if you get like something like a smaller washcloth, roll that up a couple times, stick it in there. Something that's thin, because it's not gonna bulge out of the back and stick in your back. That's why I use that tiny piece of foam. It gave me some cushion, but it doesn't really push the back of the bag out, and I don't feel it when I'm carrying the bag. But yeah, maybe for V2 of this bag, Marmansk, you're gonna want to either make this compartment floating, or you're gonna have to put some sort of padding in there, because the laptop itself, it does sit pretty high inside the bag, so you can't really float it too much, but anything at this point would help, because there's nothing there. Now we'll head to the inside of the bag. This pen loop right here. Now the way it's designed, you can see it sticks out. It's more or less just a little loop at the end, so it kind of dangles and it kind of gets in the way because it doesn't just sit flush. So I think this loop would be better served if it was actually attached to the back pocket here, and then it wouldn't stick out and dangle, because now the way it works, when I have my pen in there, my pen moves around a little bit. So when the pen's moving around, that means when I'm getting stuff in and out, I can hit the pen a little bit easier. It's gonna get in the way. If it was just mounted flush against the back, it would just not wiggle a little bit. So just that one simple thing would make the interior of this bag just a little bit nicer to use. Now we're gonna move on to the neutral points, and I really only have two of them, and we're gonna start with the straps. They aren't super thick padded, they are pretty pliable. I don't know what the type of padding is inside of them. They do feel okay to carry for a while, and that's gonna lead me to the second neutral point, which is the capacity of this bag is only 20 liters. So you're not gonna really be loading this bag up with a ton, so these straps don't have to be super, super thick, because you're not gonna be carrying a ton of weight, but I would like to see maybe a little bit more cushion in here. You can already see the fold points, it completely broke in, and it's essentially flat where it was bending over my shoulder, coming down onto my body. So I feel like over time, the rest of this padding is gonna break down. Again, it was pretty comfortable for me to carry for the past couple of weeks because the bag is only 20 liters. I wasn't carrying a ton of stuff. Here is my EDC loadout. This picture here is my standard EDC loadout that I was carrying on the daily. Now I did have to cut down from what I would normally carry because the bag is only 20 liters. I generally carry a little bit more than this. Now this is my loadout for my computer days. I still fit all of my EDC kit in there, plus my laptop, which is a 15-inch MacBook Pro, and my tech kit. Now when I zip the bag up, it is pretty full. There is no extra space in there. Everything does fit, but it just fits. In my tech pouch, it's not that thick. I have the plug for my computer, an external hard drive, the dongle for my computer, a mouse, and then I have a couple of SD cards that are super thin that take up literally no space. And I purposefully bought and used this cheap tech pouch because I like the shape of it. It fits in just about every bag I've ever had very nicely, but with this bag, I had to lay it across the top, on top of everything else, because the bag itself is too narrow for me to slide it down on the side. Normally, I would just take that and I would slide it straight down on the side, and it would fit next to all my notebooks and tablets. I couldn't do that with this bag because it's not big enough, because the 20 liters, it is really including the laptop sleeve. So the internal space is not actually 20 liters. And I've had 19 liter bags that can carry much more than this 20-liter bag. So the straps and the capacity isn't quite 20 liters internally for your main compartment. So those are my two neutral points. Now we're gonna head into the positives. The look. First of all, it's clean. There isn't much going on in the bag. There's not a lot of clutter. There's no straps dangling about. There's no extra attachment points for things. So it is a very clean look. And as I said, I don't know what this material is, and being on the front, not being a pocket, it's useless. It does look kind of cool, so I kind of like that it goes to the overall aesthetic of this black Urbana carry. So I do like the aesthetic of the bag. I do like that it does have this external access to my laptop, because sometimes I do just want to grab my laptop. I don't need the tech kit. I just need to power up the computer and check something or send a file that's already on my computer hard drive. I don't need the external. So I do like that it's a quick access to get to my laptop. And the zipper, it doesn't open super wide, but it opens just enough for me to get my hand in there and get the computer out. Now, while we're talking about the zippers, all of these zippers, I don't know what they are, but all of these zippers do actually function very, very smoothly. There's no snags, there's no hang-up points, even across the bend, and even this thin little pocket here that you can't fit much in, all of these zippers actually operate really, really nicely. Usually with the Aqua Guards or Aqua Protected zippers, I find that they get hung up, especially around the bends, where they're operating very, very nicely. So for potential no-name zipper, they work pretty well. And sticking with our minimalist theme of the bag, we don't have a lot going on inside, but we do have enough. We have our pen slot that we talked about earlier. We have one zipper mesh pocket here that is about the depth of my hand to maybe about the whole depth of my hand. I like it because you can still see what's going inside because it's mesh and it's zipper, so you can secure a few things in here. This would be great for little odds and ends like jump drives, anything that's bouncing around like AirPods, something like that. And across the front of the bag, we have another pocket that is about the width of the front of the bag. In the depth, it goes down probably about halfway. Let's see, it comes to about here on me, and it's just secured by one little piece of hook and loop. Now, it's not super thick. I've been keeping thin things like my first aid kit and this little accessory pouch. They actually fit side by side in there for me pretty nicely, and they fit just enough that I can close that pouch. And then across the back of the bag, we have a tablet sleeve that's pretty deep. This goes pretty much to the bottom of the bag. That's about maybe 3/4 or more of the bag. It is blazing pale arm. It's from the tip of my fingers to here on my arm, and it's padded on the front, but it is not padded across the bottom. But this is where you're hitting where I talked about earlier. This is the main compartment here, where there's actually an extra piece. I don't know if you can really see it, but there's like this extra piece of canvas or nylon on the bottom. So it's not padded, but because there's this extra piece here on the bottom of the main compartment, it does give you some sort of protection, whereas the laptop sleeve is nothing. It's the nylon and the ground. There's nothing between the nylon, the ground, and your laptop. So the tablet sleeve is pretty deep. I've actually been using it for my admin pouch. I kind of stick that right in there because I generally don't use a tablet. And then the bag itself, I mean, it packs out pretty nicely. I keep a few things in here. I usually stick those on the side. And then my 2 notebooks, the sticker that my daughter threw in there, and everything fits pretty nicely. So all in all, the Marmansk Urbana Black Collection Sporty Backpack. That was a mouthful. I like the aesthetics of the bag. I like this minimalist look. I like that there's no extra straps or things dangling off the pack. It's very clean. It's sleek looking, but I have no idea what this thing is made out of. They just say that it's made from strong and durable materials. Well, I don't know what that means. I don't know. Is it strong and durable materials for me to use this for a couple of weeks and it still looks good? Because if that's the intent, yeah, it looks great. But personally, the way this bag looks and it feels and the way it's constructed, I think if I were to EDC this bag for upwards of a year, that would be its lifespan. Yeah, I think you might get a year out of this pack. So the $99.99 USD price point, I feel like that might be a tiny bit high. I would put this in maybe the $60 to $75 range. I mean, it's a decent backpack. It's nice looking, but the lack of usage of this front pocket here, the absolute worthlessness of this here, it looks cool, but there's no use to this. It's just here to look nice. And the overall internal capacity is kind of small. Again, I've used 19-liter bags that I can fit so much more in than this 20-liter pack. So I don't think the internal space, I'm gonna say the internal space of this bag is probably, I would put it more at like 12 to 15 liters. I think they grossly overestimated the 20-liter. I'm guessing maybe they're doing it with the external measurements with this front pouch, front panel all puffed out and taking measurements and just calculating the liters by that. But this is useless, so this does have depth to it. So if I try, I can easier with two hands, but I can fluff this out and make this look nice and full, but it's a pocket with no pocket. This creates a pocket in the front of the bag, but there's no actual pocket made out of this panel. So I feel like they definitely miscalculated the actual size of this pack. I feel like if you're looking for like a 15-liter bag, that's probably more your size here. I think this is gonna be more like a 15-liter pack. They definitely use the laptop compartment too as the overall capacity, but again, the internal capacity is very minimal of the pack. So honestly, it's up in the air. I don't think I would personally buy this bag if it was my money. It's nice. It worked for me for a couple of weeks, but it didn't overall work for what I needed it for. So if you just need to carry a couple of things, if you just want to look nice walking down the street, the bag looks great, maybe this pack's for you. One cool thing I will say is that on the inside of the bag here, they give you coordinates, and those coordinates actually take you to Marmansk in Russia. So my final summation of my summation is I'm up in the air with this pack. It's not for me. It might be for you. I don't want to ultimately say move along and get something else, because the bag it does have some nice features. It does look good, but there are other things out there that I think would serve you much better, work much better, and last much longer. So if you like this video or any of my other videos, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Smash that big red button and ring that bell right next to it so you get notifications next time I post a brand new video. Good night.